security in any way? Let's bring in our representative. Pat Meehan is a member of the House Oversight Committee, and he wants some answers on what happened in Benghazi, and he joins us from D.C. Thank you so much for being here on Good Day Philly.
Hey, great to be with you, Mike and Chanel.
So, let's talk about the Benghazi hearings. You want General Petraeus, no matter what he's going through with this scandal, to show up and answer some questions.
Well, he's critical to the situation. He was in charge of the CIA, and the CIA is central to all of the activities that took place in Benghazi. We're beginning to learn more about the presence that they had, and there's significant questions about the activities of the CIA, including a report that suggested that there may have been some, prisoners detained. So he is in the person who knows or should know, and he was in charge during the period of time.
Since you talked about this, the prisoners, I want to ask you about this, because yesterday we were talking about the fact here on Good Day that apparently Paula Broadwell, this mistress, was at the University of Denver giving a speech and mentioned that. And that's the first time I heard anything about that. Did she leak some kind of classified information? Because then, even if you don't want to talk about Broadwell, she brings herself into this.
Yeah, and that's why I raised that. That starts to create the connection. And this goes apart from whatever may have happened inappropriate between the two of them. There's the appearance that there could have been sensitive information that she was either not entitled to or shared. And you saw that the FBI went and did a far more extensive search of her property. Right. Now, the original reason that the FBI held for months information that the Attorney General knew in early September that this illicit affair was going on, and never even told the president until the day after the election, and never even told the Congress.
Well, let's get back to that comment that,
or the day of the election,
that Chanel was talking about. Let's listen to what she actually had to say at the University of Denver. Here it is.
The CIA annex had actually had taken a couple of Libyan militia members prisoner, and they think that the attack on the consulate was an effort to try to get these prisoners back.
Now, I had never heard that. Had you ever heard that?
No, and that begins to create activities on the part of the CIA that are beyond, well, that's what people want to know, and that's exactly why there needs to be a lot more scrutiny, because it relates directly to the incidents in Benghazi, if in fact there's anything that's true related to it. And we've also got a concern that you've got the highest levels of the CIA and the military in which there could be, inappropriate relationships that are potentially affecting security.
Another thing before we let you go, I know that you've been following the General John Allen thing, too. It seems like this is just maybe a couple of flirtatious emails, because he's getting ready to be named the head of NATO command, right?
Yeah, and this is an important time for our country to have leadership that both understands the mission and is able to, accomplish what we're looking to do, which is a phased-out withdrawal. So it's a time in which, he's apparently a prolific emailer, and some of those are raising questions as to whether or not they're inappropriate.
Yeah. Well, just one more thing here. How's this Joe Kelly, who grew up in Northeast Philadelphia? If I called the FBI and said I'm getting harassing emails, is that something the FBI would look into for me? Just because she has a friend in the FBI can do that?
You're asking good questions. It's not customary to do it at that level. It would often be sent to a local prosecutor's office for investigation. So and if there was some direct linkage to Petraeus at that point in time, but nobody knew of that connection. So how this was generated and got as far as it did is a question. And, once again, just the beginning of many, many questions that have implications on a broad spectrum of areas, most significantly national security, what went on in Benghazi, and who knew what in this administration, and what are they telling the American people about when they knew and should have known.
Well,
That's a lot there.
We have to go, but just really quickly, as a former prosecutor, does anything surprise you anymore? I mean, I remember your press conferences with the flow charts of who did what and email hacking and you name it. This is nuts.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, what I look at is General Petraeus served his country well and did some great things.
Right.
You know, and it's kind of like you're let down when you hear a guy who you look at as a hero. You know, there's frailties in everybody, but I kind of wish that he was not one of the guys.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't want this to be his
All right.
legacy.
Congressman Pat Meehan, thank you, Representative, for coming in this morning. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, we got to get out to Jen at 7:44.
We are in Ambler. Sue Serio said she was like redoing chairs and stuff.